Hello, and welcome back. The whole week is done and we're just getting started. I'm Paolo del Rosario. Let's get you up to speed with some news that you could use right now.
Hello there, beautiful people. I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. It's back to the grind for most of us, whether we like it or not. Let's make today an awesome one with some laughter, inspiration, and unstoppable energy.
And I'm Monique Tuzon. Your mornings are always mo fun with us. Join us in the next hour and a half for stories and conversations that matter. I hope you guys had the best Holy Week. I know we did. We all stayed here in Manila and we all got to finally rest.
You know, it's so funny because when Anne said whether you like it or not, we're back to the grind. Parang or not yung gusto niya.
I felt it. She's like, oh, we're back.
Yeah, we're back. I don't want to work.
But didn't it feel like it was too short?
It's always short.
Right? I mean, we had an extra 2 days, like
so
Thursday,
quickly,
Friday.
yeah.
But what? I mean, we were talking about that in the makeup room, and you said we were so looking forward to this break, and then the break's over.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, this is the first week we have like a full week, because the past 3 weeks we always had like 1 day. Well, it doesn't, not for us, but for everybody else who normally works. They have a day off, like on the Wednesday or on Tuesday.
Yeah,
but this is everybody's first full week.
It's good because it's very. I felt that it was a very restorative week in the sense that okay, nakapahinga tayo because there's no TV. There's no, for me personally, there's no sports, and at the same time, you know, it's just a nice time to just. I saw this post. Someone said that Metro Manila became an introvert's heaven. Kasi walang tao sa Manila. Lahat kayo nasa Boracay o kung saan. Guys, dyan muna kayo, okay? Because
they're all back. I mean, it was really nice. It was like a great forced break. Like the gyms were closed, most restaurants, most malls were closed.
So hindi ka nag-workout kasi the gyms were
I
closed?
played tennis.
What?
Tennis
My gym was open.
Yeah.
My gym was open.
Oh, mine wasn't.
Kasi, you know, for her kasi her body's a temple.
That's true.
And so you have to take care of the temple during the Holy Week, diba? Kaya ganon.
Masipag yung Anytime Fitness eh. Anytime daw sila.
No, actually, yung Anytime branch ko, sarado.
Oh, yeah?
Mine was crazy.
No, because malls would be closed eh.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why, at least when it comes to yung mga 24-hour gyms, they actually are closed also. But all that aside, we are expecting all of you back in Manila. And with that, Anne, we expect them to be on the roads.
I know. Let us take a look at the major roads in Metro Manila at this hour. Guys, traffic is back with a vengeance. This is the situation along EDSA White Plains. On the left side of your screens are vehicles going to Shaw Boulevard. You will be slowing things down. Moderate traffic already building up on that stretch. On the opposite lane, right side of your screens are vehicles headed to Cubao. Still light traffic this morning. Now let's check on the live feed from EDSA Orense in Makati. Left side of your screens is the southbound lane going to Pasay, and on the right side is the northbound lane going to Shaw Boulevard. Both lanes still free-flowing at this time. Light traffic on both sides of EDSA. Now, the expanded vehicle number coding scheme is in full swing. It's a Monday, guys. Vehicles with license plates ending in 1 and 2 should be off the road right about now until 10 a.m. and again later from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Heads up, motorists, as gas prices are going to increase this week. Industry projections say gasoline and diesel prices could go up by 1 peso and 1 peso and 20 centavos a liter. This comes after a big-time fuel price rollback, which took place last week. The price adjustments will take place Tuesday, April 22nd. Fuel firms say the reasons behind the hike include tensions caused by the new U.S. sanctions on Iran. Now let's find out what the weather is going to be like on this Monday. Paolo has today's forecast from Weather HQ. Take it away, Pao.
Thanks so much, Mo. There are 2 different weather systems currently influencing weather conditions all across the Philippines. We start off first with Intertropical Convergence Zone, or the ITCZ. Now, this is affecting the southern part of Mindanao, while the rest of the country will continue to experience the effects of the warm and moist easterly wind. So show you the easterlies here, and of course the rest of the country being affected by all of that. Now, due to the presence of the ITCZ, areas including the Davao region, Surigao del Sur, Sangani, Sultan Kudarat, Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi can expect a mostly cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and isolated thunderstorms all across the region. See, even here in the Davao region, which I was covering just a moment ago. Now, the ITCZ will continue to bring partly cloudy to cloudy conditions with chances of isolated rain showers or thunderstorms, particularly in the late afternoon and in the evening. Now, the prevailing easterly winds are increasing both temperatures and humidity levels. Now, this weather pattern is making conditions feel even hotter and is continually affecting the Luzon and Visayas regions. Now, let's take a look at how these weather patterns are influencing the latest heat index forecast coming from Pag-asa. Now, there are several locations currently experiencing extreme high heat levels that fall under what we call the danger category. Now, 2 areas have recorded a heat index of 44 degrees Celsius, which is classified as dangerously high. These are Dagupan in Pangasinan and Apari in Cagayan. Now, other areas with a heat index of 43 degrees Celsius also following under the danger category include Tuguegarao in Cagayan, Itiaga in Isabela, Subic Bay, Olongapo, San Ildefonso, Bulacan, and Sangli Point in Cavite. Now, several more locations have recorded a heat index of 42 degrees Celsius, which still falls under the danger zone. These areas include Metro Manila, Bacnotan, La Union, Casiguran, Aurora, Tanawan, Batangas, San Jose Occidental, Mindoro, Puerto Princesa City, Daet, Camarines Norte, Pili, Camarines Sur, Masbate City, Dumangas, Iloilo, Catarman in Northern Samar, and Zamboanga City. Now, due to these extreme conditions, it is crucial to stay hydrated, limit the outdoor activities during the peak heat hours, and pay close attention to vulnerable individuals. Children, seniors, and people with pre-existing medical conditions are those who you should watch out for. Now, when it comes to the sea conditions, there are still no gale warnings. We haven't had one in quite a bit, actually. No gale warnings in effect. That means that sea conditions are generally safe for our fishermen and seafarers. However, weather conditions can change rapidly, so it is always best to stay updated with the latest forecast and remember that safety should always be the top priority. But that is it for Weather HQ at the moment. Back to you, girls.
Thank you so much, Pao, for that weather report. The Commission on Elections is set to investigate 4 candidates for possible violation of the campaign ban during the Holy Week. According to the COMELEC chair, the poll body received a surge of reports from netizens about candidates who allegedly used Maundy Thursday and Good Friday to promote themselves, despite earlier warnings against campaigning during the religious holiday. The COMELEC says some of these activities were monitored on the ground, while others were posted online, indicating that candidates may be taking advantage of social media to continue their promotions even during the restricted period. COMELEC previously reminded candidates that while participation in religious events is allowed, it must be done in a nonpartisan manner. Among the prohibited activities during Holy Week are the distribution of food and drinks after the pabasa and organizing games or tournaments as part of campaigning efforts. Violations of the campaign ban may be considered election offenses, punishable under the Omnibus Election Code.
The vendor's party list accuses Contra Daya of personally targeting them following a disqualification case filed by the poll watchdog. The party list expressed their disappointment on a social media post, claiming that in several investigations and data gathered by Contra Daya, they were the only group at the center of criticism. They dismissed the allegations as baseless, arguing that these claims are part of a deliberate attempt to damage their reputation as a legitimate political entity. The vendor's party list also cited previous rulings from the Supreme Court, emphasizing that their nominees not only come from the sector they represent, but are also committed to improving the lives of Filipino vendors.
The International Criminal Court has ordered its Office of the Prosecutor to complete the disclosure of all evidence against former President Rodrigo Duterte by July 1. This is in preparation for the confirmation of charges hearing scheduled for September 23. In a formal order released last week, the ICC pretrial chamber laid out a detailed timeline of pre-hearing requirements. Duterte faces charges of crimes against humanity over his administration's bloody and controversial war on drugs. Under the order, the prosecution must submit all evidence it intends to use. This includes witness statements, translations, and even materials that could favor Duterte's defense. The chamber emphasized that any evidence submitted after the July 1 deadline will not be considered unless it meets narrow exceptions, such as newly uncovered exculpatory information. ICC spokesperson Karim Khan has also been directed to submit a full list of witnesses, summaries of their testimonies, a 90-page pre-confirmation brief, a 60-page list of evidence, and a document containing the charges. The chamber reminded parties that the September hearing is not a trial, but a procedural step to decide whether the case will move forward. Victims of Duterte's anti-drug campaign have also been invited to apply for participation, with deadlines set for August.
The Philippine National Police has identified a kidnap-for-hire syndicate behind the killing of businessman Anson Cue and his driver, calling the case a major breakthrough. PNP Chief General Romel Marbil said the crime was not random, but a targeted operation linked to personal and financial disputes. Authorities identified Chinese national David Tan Liao as the alleged mastermind. He is now in police custody, while 2 Filipino cohorts were arrested in Palawan. The Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry welcomed the development of the case. Federation President Victor Lim also met with police and other law enforcement agencies to strengthen public and private cooperation against criminality. The group urged authorities to pursue the remaining suspects and ensure a thorough investigation, emphasizing that a strong justice system is crucial to economic stability and public safety.
The Philippine National Police recorded 31 cases of drowning out of the 53 untoward incidents monitored nationwide during this year's Holy Week. The PNP Public Information Office says the number is 28% lower than last year's 43 drowning cases, but remains a concern despite repeated public reminders. The agency also logged 5 vehicular accidents, a robbery holdup in Region 10, and several fire incidents in NCR, Region 8, and Region 9. Other monitored cases included acts of lasciviousness, stabbing, and minor threats. Despite the reported incidents, the PNP described the Holy Week observance as generally peaceful compared to 2023. The police's heightened alert status remains in effect until May 31, in line with the upcoming elections.
Heads up to students, parents, and teachers. The Department of Education has announced that public school classes for school year 2025 to 2026 will officially begin on June 16. In a new order released this April, DepEd confirmed that this marks a return to the pre-pandemic school calendar. The school year will run until March 31, 2026, spanning 197 class days, including the end-of-year rites. Enrollment and Brigada Escuela activities will take place from June 9 to 13, 1 week before the opening of classes. This calendar shift follows President Bongbong Marcos's approval last year to revert to the traditional June to March schedule.
In world news, Pope Francis makes a brief public appearance on the main balcony of St. Peter's Basilica on Easter Sunday. The Pope did not preside over the Vatican's Mass for Easter on doctor's orders, but appeared at the end of the event for a twice-yearly blessing and a message. In his Easter message read by the Master of Ceremonies, the pontiff called for a ceasefire between Israel and Gaza, calling the situation dramatic and deplorable. He also called anti-Semitism in the world a worrisome trend.
I express my closeness to the sufferings of Christians in Palestine and Israel, and to all the Israeli people and the Palestinian people. The growing climate of anti-Semitism throughout the world is worrisome. Yet at the same time, I think of the people of Gaza and its Christian community in particular, where the terrible conflict continues to cause death and destruction and to create a dramatic and deplorable humanitarian situation.
Meantime, Pope Francis held a private meeting at the Vatican on Sunday morning with U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance. The two, who have clashed over Trump administration policies, exchanged Easter greetings. Vance visited Italy over the weekend to meet Vatican officials. The Pope, who was still recovering from double pneumonia, did not join the discussions. The Pope and the Vatican have vocally criticized U.S. President Donald Trump's policies, including mass deportation and foreign aid freeze.
Moving on to sports, the Creamline Cool Smashers defending home turf as action in the ABC Women's Champions League tips off. The Cool Smashers shut down Al Nasser Club from Jordan Sunday at the Phil Sports Arena in Pasig. Import Erica Staunton led Team Good Vibes with 17 points, plus the game-winning kill, while team captain Liza Valdez added 10 markers. Creamline will next face a team from Kazakhstan in Pool A action later today. Over in the NBA, a roaring start for Oklahoma City Thunder in the playoffs. The Thunder were rolling at home with a historic 51-point beatdown of the Memphis Grizzlies, 131-80. Aaron Wiggins had an electrifying night for OKC with 21 points off the bench, while Jalen Williams added 20. According to ESPN, OKC's 51-point masterpiece was the fifth largest winning margin in NBA playoff history and the largest in the first game of a playoff series. Game 2 is on Wednesday, April 23. And now shifting gears to Formula 1, McLaren's Oscar Piastri comes out on top once again in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. The Australian racer sees the lead in the Middle East on Sunday as he claims his third victory in 5 races. Red Bull superstar Max Verstappen came in second, while Ferrari's Charles Leclerc finished in third place. Lewis Hamilton, on the other hand, finished 7th for the Italian racing powerhouse. Up next, the Miami Grand Prix in May.
In entertainment, Filipino-American model Kelsey Merritt may have just confirmed her new relationship with Gossip Girl actor Chase Crawford. The two were spotted kissing during a stroll in New York City, a public display of affection that's being taken as a rare glimpse into their private lives. Merritt and Crawford sparked dating rumors back in January when they were first seen together at a coffee shop in Los Angeles.
In local news, the nation continues to mourn the loss of superstar Nora Honor. More tributes poured in as Honor's family opened her wake to public viewing over the weekend. Ate Gay, a famous Nora Honor impersonator, shared a clip of him singing at her wake. He wrote, "Hanggat may Noranyan, may Nora Honor." Comedian Michael V posted on Instagram his hand-drawn portrait of the late superstar, saying no other artist has come to her level of stardom. Meanwhile, actor Alfred Vargas harkened back to his scene with Honor in one of her last films, Pieta. He wrote, "True stars shine because of their humility and generosity in everything they do and whoever they meet. Sa'yo ko naramdaman ito ng sobra, Ate Guy." Nora Honor passed away on April 16 at the age of 71. And of course, we're sending our sincerest condolences and prayers for the family and loved ones of the late Nora Honor. You know what? My memories of Nora Honor was watching her TV show Superstar on RPN 9 when I was a kid. Hindi nyo na naabutan yun because that was like...
Kasi you were a kid eh.
Parang 1970s.
We were still a thought.
1970 something, late 70s siya nag-start and until
Late 70s.
1989.
So my parents were 10.
Oh my goodness.
Give or take.
Same, they were kids.
But
Parang
yeah, my
ganun.
lola would watch that every week. Yeah, they would watch that Superstar show and Nora Honor would be dancing. And,
Now my
I
Lola's
remember
been
that.
devastated. She's been watching like this whole Holy Week stuff about Nora Honor, which it's sad.
Yeah, I mean, like personally, just looking at the impact that she left on the industry.
Yes.
I think there's very few people who was as universally admired, and of course, even left an impact overseas. So again, her legacy is still alive and well.
Yeah.
And hopefully, we see more efforts to remember her. As the weeks go on, because I'm sure with all the legions of fans that she's had and the impact she's left in the industry, we may see a few more memorials in her honor.
And they just redid like a bunch of her old movies, so I definitely want to
remasters,
go
yeah.
see
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
100%.
Well, on our next break, we can do that, guys. We'll do a Nora Honor movie marathon.
Yeah, movie marathon.
Let's not let Anne do the planning because she plans but doesn't do it.
That's why she didn't plan it, so I'm doing
Yeah, you're
it on
doing
her
it, yeah.
behalf, so it'll happen.
Go ahead, do it. We should watch
Yeah.
her movies.
Well, up next, guys, we have someone who flies high and dreams big. Aviation vlogger Mond Ortiz will be joining us to talk about all things aviation and air travel. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Hello, hello, welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. We Filipinos have spread across the globe for both leisure and work. Of course, this means we fly a lot. Now, today's aviation enthusiast and vlogger Mond Ortiz joins us to answer all our questions about what's going on up there. It's a beautiful day, Mond. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me here at It's a Beautiful Day. Excited and to answer your questions.
Yeah, we're excited. I mean, everybody was just kind of up in the air or on land traveling this past Holy Week. But I want to know what started your love for aviation, because all your content on Instagram and on Facebook, it's all about planes, travel, etc. So what started that passion for you?
It started since I was a kid. I was, when my uncle showed me a picture of an F-15 Eagle. It's a US-built fighter jet. I don't know, it was just love at first sight, and I fell in love with it. And from then on, I've just been longing to see pictures of planes. So my dad would show me pictures of planes. And in fact, my nursery rhyme books, instead of nursery rhymes, it was all magazines of planes.
Wow.
Just planes. I mean, even elementary, my classmates would call me, oh, you're a one-track minded guy because you don't talk anything about planes. My elementary classmates can attest to that. So it all started from there, and it just went on. And even when I became a content creator, I wanted just to focus on aviation.
Yeah, it's so funny. I don't know if kung naabutan mo to eh. Naabutan mo ba yung mga air show dati ng Blue Diamond?
Yes. I was a kid, but I was just like, oh,
So did
F5s.
did that actually help you
It triggered.
really get into the whole aviation at that young age?
Yes.
And for those who don't know,
Yeah.
for the generation gap, can you explain what the Blue Diamond were?
Okay, the Blue Diamond is an aerobatic team of the Philippine Air Force way back. They used F-86 all the way to the F-5s,
Yeah.
but sadly, I don't know, they're no longer around. And I hope they can revive it, because I've always been saying that Filipino pilots are very skilled. And, I mean, if they're
That was proof of that.
Which one?
That was proof of that.
Yes,
they were.
yes. Flying the Blue Diamonds, and, we can always have it again.
You know, I love how everything started since your uncle showed you that
Yes.
photo of the F-15 Eagle when you were
Yes.
young, and then you wanted to be a pilot. But then when you got into college, you took entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And then after that, you went into the corporate world.
Yes.
You worked in a telecommunications company where, coincidentally, you serviced people from the aviation industry, right? And then after that, you got into events planning, and then you focused on aviation-themed events, right? You know, looking back at that journey, can you walk us through like your transition of careers, and then what is it about the aviation industry that kept your fascination alive even after you shifted careers?
Since I was in the corporate world, believe it or not, I would always still look at pictures of planes, and then social media came in, YouTube came in, and I would watch a lot of videos, and that kept my spark, my love for aviation. And then I remember during my telco days, one of my clients was Air Philippines.
Okay.
So I would tell my boss, oh, I'll do a client called Air Philippines, even if there's no need to go there. Because I would stay in their office for 1 hour. Now, 5 minutes is selling telco. The rest, plain talk.
Wow.
So you're in the wrong industry.
Yes. 55 minutes was spent on talking about planes with the
planes.
people
Okay,
around, looking
okay.
at the pictures, and just talking about planes. And that's where really, that's where I discovered that, hey, I mean, I must really belong to aviation. I must belong, because why do I look forward to doing client calls in Air Philippines?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Now your old bosses are all thinking, kaya pala. Okay.
Exactly. And I hope she's not watching that. She'd say, oh, so that's why.
It's okay, they can't reprimand you anymore anyway.
Yeah.
But did you ever think to ever go to that aviation route and maybe become a pilot, a flight attendant, or maybe work in the airline industry, like in the airport?
Yes. I have goals, and God willing, that of pursuing flying. up to now, I'm still considering it to take
Okay.
off flying, and it's like 60% yes, 40% no. So it's just more on the financial part,
Yeah.
of course, because it's no joke.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's
it's
talk about
expensive.
that actually. How expensive is it to be a pilot here in the Philippines?
Okay.
Can you give us like a range
Sure.
for that?
It can range around 4.5 million to 5 million also. Between that amount, that's until you get your commercial pilot license, instrument rated. So around that amount. For the Airbus rating, that's still a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because each plane has a different rating, and of course,
Yes.
there's licensing required for each of them, and
Yes.
the hours required.
Correct,
But
correct.
when you look at the industry as a whole, you're still finding a way to be a part of it. You're still finding a
Yes.
way to really talk about and share the
Yes.
love for it. And I want to talk about your content here because yung reception nito, I don't know kung nakakagulat para sa iyo that it is something that people resonate with, people actually like, people actually pursue. Are you surprised that there's this also the shared love of aviation that your followers have?
Ever since that I started content creation in aviation, I knew that there was really a love for it from other people. It's just that they needed someone to connect.
Yeah.
To connect with. And I'm glad that I came in the right time, the right place. Even when people were telling me during the COVID period that aviation is dead, I mean, look
Yeah,
at it
yeah.
now. For me, it was, no, it's still alive. It's still alive. It's just sleeping.
Yeah. Well, kasi
gonna wake up.
pandemic eh. Pandemic nun eh. Yeah.
Oo, parang nagpahinga lang. But
Yeah.
suddenly, you have this sudden surge in air travel demand. In fact, the projection now is 4 to 5% a year
Yeah.
until 2035. That's how fast the industry is growing, and that's how many people are really looking forward to it right now. And that's why there are a lot of pilot aspirants, there are a lot of cabin crew aspirants right now. So it's an interesting to see really how people get to connect.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there are just a lot of enthusiasts out there. Like I see in my comment section, I learned from them also.
Yeah.
Actually.
Oh, yeah.
I learned a lot from them. Ang galing.
You mentioned the pandemic, and I know that you launched your aviation online merch shop,
Yes.
right, during the pandemic.
Yes.
That was a bold move, right, to
Correct.
launch it during that time.
I
What were
know.
the challenges that you had to face, putting your merchandising online shop out there, plus doing your content creation? What were the struggles that you had to face during that time?
First of all, it was the supply.
Okay.
Because I was selling, aside from lanyards, I was selling die-cast planes. But of course, the supply was low.
Okay.
And I had to focus also on content creation because you have to really give time for it.
Okay.
Especially if you want to research, if you're really being factual about what your content is. So it was a challenge. I had to choose between both.
Okay.
So I chose to go content creation, focus on it. It was okay at first, but realizing it, I mean, I'd rather choose first content creation, then maybe later on I can bring back the merch.
Bring back the online. Okay.
Now, I want to ask for a friend, for my billionaire friends out there.
Yeah.
How much does it typically cost to rent a private jet? And would you recommend flying private over commercial?
Okay. The private jet can range around from $2,000 per hour all the way to $25,000 per hour. Depends on the kind of aircraft, the destination, the route, number of people, a lot of factors to be considered. So personally, I'd rather fly commercial because it's the same thing. I mean, if you want ultra luxury, go on an Airbus A380 of Emirates. You have the
Got
whole
first class.
first class or Etihad's residences and all. Personally, for me, I'd still go commercial than go on a private plane. I mean, the experience is different.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead.
yes, but I've tried also flying on small Cessnas from like Subic to Balear. It's fun also, but I'd still choose commercial for travel.
Yeah, for travel for sure. You mentioned the word experience, so that leads us to let's go to passenger experience here,
Yes.
because especially here in the Philippines, a bit controversial with when we talk about hospitality in the in our airports.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's constant news about the ratings of our airports, new airport management as well. You take a look at the status of things right now. Do you see it in a more upward trajectory with the change of management, with the whole new focus on trying to make air travel in the Philippines more convenient, or do you think that there's still a long way to go when it comes to that?
Well, there's still a long way to go, but at least we have 2 airports in the Philippines that are world-class.
Yeah.
You have Cebu and Clark already. In fact, Mactan Cebu has won a lot of awards in the past, and from then on, they really show that we can do it. We can do it. In terms of NAIA, we have a lot of catching up to do right now because you have 3 terminals with 2
runways.
2 runways, actually 4, but it's 2 physical runways.
Yes, I was going to say.
2 physical runways, but 4 in terms of numbers. So there's a lot of catching up to do for NAIA if they want to retain NAIA. But with the Bulacan Airport now ongoing, airlines have this positive outlook on it. They can increase of capacity, they can establish better connections, and we can become a transit hub. So that's why airlines are looking forward to it. Now it's just a matter of, I hope it gets constructed soon, and I mean, it comes on time. So yes, definitely, NAIA has a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned he has a lot of catching up to do, but then she also mentioned Cebu and Clark.
Yes.
When we talk about this being a world-class facilities, maybe not that hasn't been highlighted enough. What do you like most about these 2 airports in particular that really make traveling more convenient, comfortable for those going through it?
All right. I was privileged enough to be given a tour of the Cebu Airport, of Mactan Cebu International Airport Terminal 2. Aesthetically, they're very beautiful.
Yeah.
As in, ang ganda. Very Filipino, very world-class, definitely. And everything is well arranged. Like downstairs, you have a hostel, sleeping area. Like if you have a connecting flight and you just want to get into the nearest hotel, just go downstairs.
Yeah.
Meron. Everything is nearby. The shops are conveniently placed around. And even the check-in counters.
How about Clark? Because it's the closest one here to Metro Manila and where I want to try to go next, actually. So
Actually, ang ganda ng Clark because they already have automated check-in counters like the ones in Hong Kong.
And it's quicker, actually, if you go through Clark than at NAIA.
Yes. And then in terms also of aesthetics, ang ganda ng Clark. Everything is very accessible. The shops are well properly laid out and all. It's very beautiful. It's clean.
How about passenger capacity? Because we mentioned that there are only 2 runways, so physical runways in the NAIA, and we talk about how maybe they are not as well equipped in terms of the traffic going through. We always see delays when it comes to even takeoff and landings. How about Clark? Would Clark have that problem? And especially when you talk about the capacity of a number of planes it could handle and the people going through it.
Well, definitely, because they used to have 2 runways, 2 parallel runways, but apparently, they placed a hangar in 1 runway. So that leaves 1 runway open already. Sayang. I mean, but if they're gonna add a run, I hope they do add another runway, a parallel runway. But in terms of capacity right now, you can handle it because we still don't have yet the trains going to Clark. But once the NSCR is opened, definitely we're gonna see a boost in traffic for Clark.
Yeah. Now, I want to talk about something I know is in everyone's mind right now when they're traveling, especially for my friends in the U.S. and family.
Because Anne is traveling to the U.S.
She's going to the U.S. In June, but I know there's been a lot of viral incidents that is picking up a lot of media attention. Would you say those are just one-offs? And how do you, I guess, or what would you say to the people who are scared now because of what they're seeing online before they fly the plane?
All right. Basically, air travel is still the safest form of travel there is today. I mean, if you're going to look at the numbers, based on IATA numbers, it's one accident out of 810,000 flights. And that's even lower than in 2010 all the way to 2015, which is 1 to 465,000 flights way back. So basically, it has gotten safer already. And with regards to that impression that what's happening in the U.S., because I'm also getting those messages like what's happening in the U.S., what's happening in the U.S. First of all, we still don't know yet the cause of these
incidents,
these
Yeah.
crashes, because it takes time before an investigation result comes out. So practically, it's still very safe. I mean, especially now that for every incident, there are always recommendations from the FAA, from the ICAO and all. So it's becoming safer. Manufacturers are making planes safer and all. They learn from the lessons in the past, and it just becomes safer. So there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to worry about.
So you're okay to go.
You know, I was actually having this conversation with my daughter yesterday because they're going to Canada and then we're flying to the U.S. in June, and she's afraid of airplanes.
Really?
I mean, yeah, she has this, I don't know, fear of flying, and I always have to, assure her that, you know what, it's actually safer to be on a plane. You get more accidents on the road, than on an airplane.
Exactly.
So I'm really trying to assure her. But one more question that, flyers, travelers are worried about are the tariffs that have been implemented. Do you think the tariffs will affect travel to the U.S. and worldwide?
Definitely, it's going to affect the aviation industry in many ways.
Yeah.
Aside from economically, we also have the airfares. Airfares can be affected also because production costs of planes will rise. So, here's an example. For an Airbus, for a Boeing aircraft, okay, many of its components come from China, such as the tail cone, such as the wing-to-body fairing components. A lot of parts come from China. And of course, I mean, there's now a trade war between US and China.
Yes, that's right.
So, I mean, I'm expecting that China will, let's retaliate. Let's put on tariffs. So
they're actually starting to do that now. Yeah.
Exactly. So we're expecting costs of
it will affect
components to go up.
Right. Now,
Which will
before
affect airfare.
we let you go, Mond, I want to personally know what are the best days to book flights? Like, what are the cheapest times? And for people who are flying either economy on long hauls, well, I guess economy. Let's do economy first.
All right.
What is like the best seat? Do they really want to get the exit row or like the tail end?
I'm booking as you're talking, so go ahead.
All right.
So what day should we book?
Okay. Always get off-season. Always.
Okay.
Off-season. Because, I mean, off-season and get the time and don't get so much of the prime time travel like early morning departure from Manila. Try to get like for domestic travel, try to get what we call the alanganing time.
So like midday.
Early
Or late
morning.
afternoon or super early morning. Sometimes super early morning is packed, especially with business travelers.
Yeah, yeah.
So try to get off-season. Like if you're gonna go to Boracay, get June.
The rainy season.
I love that photo. There's Grand Air, right? The Grand Air.
Yes.
Yeah, because my lolo used to be the CEO of Grand Air, so it was
That one.
back in 97, 98, I believe. So
Yes.
that's such a great throwback. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, Boracay in June, but I'll be there next month. Sorry. Thank you so much.
I don't know what happened there.
So much more.
Welcome.
All of that. I'm booking right now, and looks like my ticket will go to.
Yeah, wait, he hasn't answered which seat.
Go.
Yes.
Exit row or in the very back?
Okay, I love the back. Actually, I love the back because I love talking to the crew later on. But if you don't like turbulence so much, get the middle part
By the
or the
wings,
front.
right?
Yeah, or the front.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
because the turbulence can be most felt in the back.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Well,
I didn't know that.
Now you do. Yeah.
Yes,
We
turbulence
learned so much.
can be felt most in the back.
All right.
And
Okay.
if you have if you're afraid of heights, always get the aisle seats.
Okay.
Okay, so you
Yes,
can't look out the window.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mond.
Thank
We
you.
really
Welcome.
appreciate
Thank you for
this.
this
I
opportunity.
just got a good deal, by the way. So
Yeah, he just booked and just learned what seat to book for the U.S. And I really enjoyed our talk coming from an aviation family. So thank you so much, Mond, for being here this morning.
Thank you also. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Yeah.
Thank you again. That was aviation vlogger Mond Ortiz.
Now, after a powerful earthquake hit our neighboring country, Myanmar, Philippine authorities warned the public once again to be prepared for the big one. But how vulnerable exactly are our houses and the buildings that surround us? We talked to an expert after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. The deadly 7.7 magnitude earthquake in Myanmar that killed thousands has renewed conversations about the big one. One key aspect of disaster preparedness is structural integrity of our buildings and infrastructure. Now, this morning we ask, how safe are buildings in Metro Manila from a powerful earthquake? Rodolfo Mendoza Jr., the Vice President of the Association of Structural Engineers of the Philippines, joins us this morning via Zoom for this discussion. It's a beautiful day. Engineer Mac, hello and welcome back to the show.
It's a beautiful day, ma'am. Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Now, Sir Mac, your organization published the National Structural Code of the Philippines, or the NSCP. Could you tell us more about this? And how does this ensure earthquake resilience of buildings and structures, infrastructure here in the Philippines?
Yes, the National Structural Code is actually part of our National Building Code, and it was actually crafted following mostly U.S. standards and codes in the U.S. In particular, when we talk about earthquake loads, the National Structural Code of the Philippines is mainly based on the U.
All right, so it looks like Sir Mac's Zoom has hung a bit, so we're going to try and get him back in just a bit. But of course, we're talking about this because of the recent earthquakes that happened in Myanmar and Thailand. We've actually had conversations about this, also segments on Weather HQ talking about the disaster resilience. And Sir Mac, sorry, it looks like you're back. You got cut off a bit. I believe you were telling us more about the details when it comes to the NSCP, especially where you got your standards from, and of course, how we're trying to upgrade or update yung mga standards po natin dito sa Pilipinas.
Yes, sir. So as I mentioned, no, the National Structural Code of the Philippines is mainly based on the U.S. standards. Specifically for earthquake, it is based on the Uniform Building Code 1997. No? The Uniform Building Code may not be the latest code in terms of earthquake, but we are using it because we are limited in terms of the seismic maps that are available in our country right now. Our maps are still based on zones, but recently, through the collaboration of ASEP, our organization, and PBOX, we were able to produce the new seismic map for the Philippines under the project SHADE of PBOX.
Now, engineer, in layman's terms, what makes a building or a house safe and earthquake resistant?
There are ingredients, I would say, if I will use that analogy, for making a structure safe. Of course, we start with a good design, and a good design is following our National Structural Code of the Philippines. Now, it doesn't end there. We need to use the right materials for our structure, and we need to engage a competent and reliable contractor to ensure that the plans are constructed accordingly. No? So these are the three, I would say, components that would make a structure structurally sound.
Sir, you mentioned the making sure that the structures are sound, but then let's be practical here. There are going to be people who move into buildings, houses, units that are not aware of how a building was constructed, how a house was constructed, and whether or not it is up to code when it comes to being able to actually go through earthquakes and still stay standing. At the same time, Fivox did release an application recently that allows people to check the hazards in and around their system with the Hazard Hunter PH, so you have more updates when it comes to what the natural disaster areas are around any particular address or building. Now, let's say you're someone who is just curious about the status of their house, their office building. How can they be prepared for the big one? And what information do they need to be able to be prepared?
Yeah, I think the app of Freebox, which is the Hazard Hunter, is a very important app in order to quantify the hazard that we have in terms of our location. But the way we measure risk is always a product of hazard and vulnerability. So once we determine the hazard, which is really depending on our location, how close are we to the nearest active fault, that is one measure or one component of measuring risk. But the another component is the vulnerability. And vulnerability talks about the strength of our structure. Now, one way to assess is we need to engage a structural engineer to evaluate if the building is structurally sound or not. Now, if, of course, we just move into a building, one way to check is normally if a building was designed based on codes like 2010, NSCP 2010 and above, I think in most cases, those buildings were designed with sufficient level or factor of safety against earthquake.
Engineer, I have a question. Or what goes on in the process of assessing structural integrity of buildings, and who are subject to these assessments, and what will happen if they fail?
Mm-hmm. So the structural assessment of the building is a process wherein we want to determine the structural deficiency in a structure. No? So we have a tier approach wherein we classify, we first check the condition of the structure, and we identify what we call structural deficiencies. And these structural deficiencies are textbook failures of buildings that we observed, I think, in the Thailand earthquake, Myanmar earthquake. Those observed damages were also consistent with this identified deficiencies, which are commonly the causes of failures in this type of structures. So such as sub-story, weak story failure. No? So now, once you identify those kinds of deficiencies, the next step is to address those deficiencies through retrofitting. No? There are several retrofitting measures. There are no universal measures to solve everything. But we start with global measures by ensuring that the structure would be limited in terms of the deformation and limiting the damage on main structural framing system.
Now, engineer, what are the biggest vulnerabilities that you see in the older buildings or homes here in Manila?
In most cases, this is the insufficient seismic detailing. No? That's because they were designed on older codes wherein the seismic detailing is not yet fully established. No? And other deficiencies are what we call a sub-story. That's a common type of structure in the Philippines where we have open parking, very, very sub-story in comparison to the upper floors. So these are textbook structural deficiencies that are the main causes of collapse of buildings during earthquakes.
Well, you mentioned, we talked about a while ago, FIVOX and DOST, and the partnership that you do have with them. You also have a project called, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, the Seismic Hazard Assessment for Design Earthquake of the Philippines, or SHADE. Could you shed more light on the SHADE for us?
Yes, I think the Project Shade is a initiative by PHIVOLCS, and it's a collaboration between PHIVOLCS and our organization. And as I mentioned kanina, I told you that our current standard in the
Yeah.
Philippines is based on the Uniform Building Code. Now, the reason we cannot proceed with improving our code is because our maps were not updated. We are still using zone maps. Now, through this project, SHADE of PHIVOLCS and ASA, we can now update our code based on what we call maximum considered earthquakes. No? And what it does is it provides you a methodology to assess the building on different return periods. No? So we have a service level earthquake wherein we assess an earthquake for very not very weak earthquakes like 4 and 5 magnitude. And then we have also a methodology to assess the earthquake under DBE. These are the 6 to 7 magnitude earthquake, and under very strong earthquake. So what it does is it allows us to assess our structure depending on the level of performance that we want. No? So this is, I think, one of the transformative evolution of our code in the Philippines. And our organization aims to publish the new National Structural Code of the Philippines following these new seismic maps this year.
Engineer, just to, because we're seeing photos of obviously the devastation happened in Myanmar and in Thailand. Myanmar, if I'm not mistaken, had more lower story buildings affected compared to Thailand, where some of the high-rise buildings were affected due to the location of the epicenter. But let's talk about the Philippines here. And the fact of the matter is Manila is probably one of the densest places on planet Earth when it comes to people and when it comes to buildings. When we talk about actually being able to inspect everything, first of all, is it, one, an impossible task, especially if it's being left to government? And second, what does that mean for those private individuals and private groups who want to ensure that their own locations are actually okay and safe for, quote-unquote, the big one, if and when it comes?
I think in terms of the industry practice that we have right now, private buildings normally are designed according to the current code. And tall buildings specifically, they even engage peer review process, because if you are designing a tall building, then you are required to engage a peer review process. So there is more like a QA/QC for tall buildings than the mid and low-rise buildings. So in terms of the overall structural review process, mas maganda yung process for tall buildings. Now, for medium to low-rise buildings, and most of these are government buildings, right now, there are some initiatives on improving the government facilities. Actually, there is one project that is funded through DPWH, wherein they want to improve the resilience of school buildings and hospital buildings. So this, I think, one way would actually improve the overall response of our community to the big one. Now, in comparison to Myanmar, because I had been working with international experts on comparing the seismic codes globally, I think our code is at par with the Myanmar seismic provision. So we can say that our structures are well designed in comparison to those structures in Myanmar. Now, one aspect that our organization is currently looking at is the impact of that earthquake in Myanmar, which is 1,000 kilometers away, to Bangkok. I think that is something that we need to look at, because we are so focused on the valley fault system, which is very, very close. So Tama naman, we need to prepare ourselves a valley fault system, but we should also look the Manila Trench. No? Manila Trench is very far from Manila, but it can produce a very, very big earthquake. Now, ano yung impact nitong Manila Trench na to? It will have a very small impact on low to mid-rise structures, but it can actually affect tall buildings. That is because of resonance. No? Similarly, ganyan ang nangyari dito sa Bangkok. No?
Yeah.
Malayo yung earthquake, but because pag malayo yung earthquake, those tall buildings are susceptible to what we call long period ground motion. Dito nagkakaroon ng resonance. And currently, to be honest, wala tayong guidelines on long period ground motion. But the PHIVOLCS is now working to develop these new maps to consider this long period ground motion effects.
Engineer, how can retrofitting schemes be applied to the old buildings to prepare for earthquakes, especially in rural and underdeveloped areas?
Yes, again, we start with evaluation. No? Using the medical analogy, we need to do some laboratory tests in order to determine the condition of our structure. Now, once structural deficiencies were determined, then we can identify what solutions we can actually propose to a given structure. Now, the retrofitting techniques is not always about adding something on the structure. It can be also removing something in our structure. So, for example, one retrofit strategy is reducing the weight of the structure because earthquake is proportional to the weight of the structure. The earthquake force is proportional to the weight of the structure. So if we reduce the weight of the structure, we also reduce the earthquake that it absorbs. No?
Yeah.
So that is why one strategy is removing heavy loads on higher floor levels and putting them near the ground floor level. No? Actually, sa Japan, ang ginagawa ng mga school buildings doon, no? There are some school buildings na binawasan ng floor. So formerly it's a 5-story building, but the retrofit strategy to minimize the damage is to reduce one floor. So that is one retrofit strategy. Now, other retrofit strategy is maybe your building is unsymmetrical. No? So you have more loads on the other side, or you get walls on the other side that is very steep, while on the other side you have openings. Now, unsymmetrical proportioning of structural system also creates torsionality, and that creates irregularity and increases the susceptibility to damage.
Thank you so much for your time. Such an informative conversation with Sir Rodolfo Mendoza Jr., the Vice President of Association of Structural Engineers of the Philippines. Thank you, sir, for your time this morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That went
My
as
pleasure.
quick as a bullet train. Thank you so much, Engineer. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we've got more stories for you after the break. Don't go away. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. And welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. This is Weather HQ, where we take a look at the global weather. Emergency response teams have been actively conducting a thorough search operation in a flood-affected river area close to the town of Valdagadno in northern Italy. According to local fire officials, the teams recovered the bodies of 2 individuals who had gone missing during the severe weather. The victims were identified as a 64-year-old man and his 33-year-old son. Authorities reported that the two had been en route to assist with rescue operations in the aftermath of a powerful spring storm when their vehicle was overtaken by the rapidly rising floodwaters and swept away. The tragic discovery was made in the Venetian region, and their deaths bring the total number of fatalities linked to the recent flooding across the country to 3. Skiers have resumed activity on the snow-covered Alps, or rather snow-covered slopes of Val Thorens, the highest ski resort in Europe, following a significant snowfall that blanketed the French Alps over the weekend. The fresh powder has drawn winter sports enthusiasts back to the popular sports resort located in the Savoie department. However, the recent weather surge came with tragic consequences. Just a day before, an off-piste skier was killed in an avalanche in Savoie. Despite the rescue efforts, the incident has cast a shadow over the return of skiers to the region. Authorities have issued an orange-level avalanche alert, warning of high risk in unstable, high-altitude areas. Skiers are urged to stay on marked trails and check avalanche bulletins as conditions remain unpredictable. Under clear, sunny skies, the 37th annual Easter egg throwing challenge took place in Horhausen, Western Germany on April 20. The warm spring weather drew large crowds, adding to the festive atmosphere as participants competed to break the 2002 record of 78 meters. While the record held firm, newcomer Ben Sauer from Cologne made a strong debut with a 57-meter throw. Intact eggs were eaten after the event, and broken ones repurposed as bird feed. Mayor Thomas Schmidt credited the excellent weather for a likely record turnout, surpassing last year's 300 participants. The post-war tradition, revived in 1987, remains a cherished Easter highlight. And that's it for Weather HQ. Back to you, Gross.
Thank you so much, Pao. Now, is today going to be your lucky day or not? Let's find out from Feng Shui Master Hans Kua in our horoscope of the day. Take it away, Master Hans.
With me, Master Hans Kua. Ito po ang horoscope for today, Monday, April 21. Para sa mga pinanganak ng Year of the Rat, maglaan ng percent o porsyento ng iyong sahod para sa savings. Orange at 2. Oksaman tayo, huwag kalimutan na ang tamang oras ng tulog para sa magandang kalusugan. Purple at 7. Kay Year of Tiger naman tayo, ang pagmamahal ay hindi minamadali. Bigyan ng oras ang sarili na mahanap mo ang tamang tao. Green at 3. Kay Rabbit naman tayo. Mag-ingat sa mga taong gustong kontrolin ka. Ang tunay na pagmamahal ay nagbibigay ng kalayaan. Magenta at 8. Kay Dragon naman, iwasan ang pagiging complacent. Lagi kang magbigay ng best effort. Aqua at 6. Kay Snake naman tayo, huwag mahiyang ipakita ang iyong kakayahan sa team. Makatulong yan sa promotion mo. Beige at 1. Ito naman, Care of the Horsey. Mag-ipon para sa long-term plans tulad ng bahay o negosyo. Yellow at 5. Care of the Ship naman tayo, ang pagiging honest ay susi sa matibay na relasyon. Huwag magtago ng mga sikreto. Yellow at 5. Monkey naman tayo, iwasan bumili ng mga hindi kailangan. Mag-focus sa necessities. Magenta at 6. Kay Year of the Rooster naman tayo, panatiliin tamang posture upang maiwasan ang pananakit ng likod mo. Red at 6. Kay Dog naman tayo, kumain ng masustansyang agahan upang maging alerto, maging maganda ang buong araw. Gold at 5. At kay Year of the Pig naman, huwag magpadala sa fake news. Gray at 4. Ako po, si Master Hans Kua. Paalala lang ito po'y patnubay lamang. Ang tunay na swerte ay nagsisimula sa pagiging totoo. Abangan ang horoscope of the day dito lang po sa It's a Beautiful Day!
Thank you so much, Master Hans Kua. I love his horoscope for you.
Yeah, I
it's as
feel
if he
so
was seeing you
targeted.
right
I feel
now.
like he was watching me. He said I have to sit up, and I was sitting like
good
this.
posture.
So I need to sit like.
So you won't
it
have
hurts.
backaches. I'm
my
translating
God.
it for you.
Thank you so much, Master Hans. I need that because we're getting older and my back is hurting. It's a posture talaga.
Yeah, there. Sit
There
up
we
straight.
go. What's Pao-Pao's?
So mine
You
was
need to
about
save
saving
money.
yeah.
Yeah.
But scared money don't make money. So, you gotta be You gotta be careful when it comes to all of that. But again, as usual, we love Master Hans.
Of
Always a pleasure having him.
course.
Master Hans
I
is so
actually
fun.
missed him. Parang ang tagal na wala tayong horoscope.
Well, kasi
because we had a
tayo
break.
nawala eh.
We're also not here.
I know nga. Kaya nga parang,
Okay.
oh, okay, I missed that.
Anne's still in the Lulu world. She's still on break. Well, we've got more stories for you guys after the break. Don't go away. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Now, who says the Heart of Business District can't be a playground? This Easter Sunday, Makati turned Ayala Avenue into a car-free, egg-filled wonderland. Thousands joined what's being called the biggest Easter hunt, proving that in Makati, Sundays are made for fun, fitness, and a little surprise around every corner. Joan Manalo hops right into the action.
If you think Makati is all about business and skyscrapers, think again, because this Easter Sunday, Ayala Avenue transformed into a giant playground filled with colorful eggs and big smiles. From 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., runners and families took over the streets for what's being called the biggest Easter egg hunt. All part of Makati's Car-Free Sundays, where the city says no cars, just fun. Stretching from Salcedo to Courtyard Drive, people raced through the Ayala Triangle Fitness Loop and pedestrian paths along Makati Avenue and Paseo de Rojas, all in search of hidden Easter eggs. Rami Santayana, a frequent runner in Makati, started her hunt bright and early at 6 a.m.
Actually, first time ko. And na-view ko lang siya through Make It Makati website kagabi. I started sa may Ayala North Exchange. Wala pa rin dito sa island.
She says she's looking forward to the surprise prizes that come with the discovered eggs.
Actually, yung run ko nasira na. Hindi naman, natigil because of the Easter egg hunt. Okay. So nagpo-focus ako sa egg hunting ngayon.
And it's definitely not just for the little ones, because even the young at heart like Rami joined in the hopping and hunting.
And hindi lang daw siya for kids, and free lang naman yung Easter egg hunting, so might as well go for egg hunting na.
Meanwhile, Jason Bitonio shared his happiness for winning the Easter egg hunt this year amid having no plans of joining at first.
No, nakita na namin sa picture Make It Makati na merong Easter egg hunt, pero wala kaming balak na sumali.
After collecting a total of 6 eggs around Ayala Avenue, he ended up walking away with sweet treats.
Tapos tinuloy-tuloy lang namin umikot. Ako kami ng madami. Happy, syempre. Goodies eh.
Fitness enthusiasts also did their regular runs and cycling routines, proving that Car-Free Sunday isn't just a trend, but a lifestyle that is here to stay. And if you missed this Sunday excitement, don't worry because Car-Free Sundays happen weekly. So who knows? You might just catch another surprise the next time you hop by.
On a normal weekday, this avenue would be buzzing with cars and commuters. But today, it is a giant Easter wonderland filled with families, fun, and community. Joan Manalo, Billionario News Channel.
Kite enthusiasts from around the world set their spirits flying high during the Weifang Kite Festival in China over the weekend. Among the highlights at the World Kite Park was a massive kite measuring 30 meters in diameter, alongside other eye-catching designs. First held in 1984, this year's festival drew in 257 teams from 51 different countries.
Well, still in China, here's one thing humanoids can't beat humans to just yet: competitive running. Now, in China, for the first time ever, humanoid robots joined runners in a half marathon in Beijing. Some robots finished the race while others struggled from the beginning, with one falling at the start before rebooting and taking off. There he is. Oof, that's tough. Another one went rogue and crashed into the railing, causing its human operator to fall over. My goodness. The winning human had a time of 1 hour and 2 minutes, while the winning robot had a time of 2 hours and 40 minutes. Alam mo, if robots are out to get us, all right, we can still outrun them, all right?
At
1 hour
least.
gap.
Yeah.
1 hour gap.
That's crazy. I'm just watching. Whoa. Oh, the robot can do a better push-up than me, though.
Well, okay, let's give him real competition.
I feel like the robot can do more push-ups than humans, pero the running hindi
No,
pa.
they run so
Not yet.
slow. Look.
Yeah, they run so
They have to
slow.
pace.
No, but I think
Now, the technology hasn't been
All right,
perfected
go,
yet.
Anne. Anne's waiting for the day they're sprinting to get Anne.
You know what? In Japan, they're actually developing skin for robots made from human DNA that enables the robots to smile and self-heal.
I saw
the
that.
Yeah, that
robot
is
has its
crazy.
own medal. The robot has its own medal.
Yeah, look, robot medal and human medal. The robot medal looks cuter.
That's so cool. Instead of like racing robot like cars or something, it's literally
Guys,
robots.
My only piece of advice is watch any movie. All right, watch any movie to figure out where robots go to.
Yep.
And then
Yeah,
we'll see.
exactly.
But my goodness. But alam mo, it's just so fun because Anne is very against certain forms of AI. So let's see how she reacts when AI and robots come together.
Yeah, I mean, what are your? I just want to know, what are your thoughts, Anne? Is this scary for you?
It is scary. Like I just mentioned the Japan technology where they're developing skin for the robots, and the robots
like
can now
AI's
smile
out to get her.
and
That's her
self-heal.
worst
Robots can
enemy.
self-heal. That's crazy.
It's exactly what Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's Terminator 1.
Yeah.
Watch any
Diba?
movie, okay? Any movie to figure out what happens when a robot get to a certain level.
Yeah,
Yep,
what if,
yep,
I
yep.
mean, they're going to be your coach soon at the gym, right? We've talked about
They
that.
actually do that now. There's
Yeah.
AI coaching.
Oh, no, but an actual
Fitness
robot.
Coaching. Oh, an actual
Beside
robot,
you.
yeah. Talo ka sa plank.
Well,
The
They do
robot
I
can
don't think
plank
they can do
forever.
planks
They
yet.
can. They just did the
No,
push-up.
they did the push-up, but I don't know if they can hold a plank.
No, I think they can.
I don't know.
They're robots. They don't feel anything. They don't get tired.
watch any movie.
I don't want to talk about let's move on because we're going to talk about something I love, and y'all know this. We're
Not
talking about
robots?
Animals. 'Cause a
Real
zoo-
animals.
Yeah, real animals, not AI. Anne's favorite. A zoo in England gets creative in letting animals participate during the Easter Sunday festivities. Animals at Whipsnade Zoo were treated to an Easter-themed hunt as keepers decorated their enclosures with props in boxes. The zoo's ferrets were entertained by a basket filled with painted eggs and straw. The endangered European rockhopper penguins took part in the hunt as well, with small fish on top of large Easter egg props for them to find. Zoo officials say the activity seeks to help encourage the animals' natural hunting behaviors. Isn't my voice is so high every time I talk about animals? I just realized I go like 2 octaves higher.
Is that the I like to move it animal?
You mean a penguin?
Right?
No.
The I like to
No,
move it.
the Madagascar.
Yeah, that one,
the ferret.
right?
The
Yeah,
Madagascar
yeah.
ferret. What is his
Yeah,
name?
yeah, yeah,
Madagascar.
I like to
forgot
move
his
it, move
name.
it. King
Yeah.
something.
King Kunta? No, that's Kendrick Lamar's song. Never mind. But maybe it is. Oh, there's so
Oh, and there's fish inserted in those eggs. It's so cute.
my question is though, this is very ignorant of me. Bakit nga ba itlog for Easter?
Do bunnies lay eggs?
No, they don't. No, they do not.
No, that's why.
No, there's-
That's why you're
No.
asking a dumb question.
No.
I'm asking a dumb question because I'm like, why eggs? That's right, because you're supposed to find the eggs that the Easter bunny hid, but they don't even lay eggs. So what's the point? What are you looking looking at that. Stop it. I'm just following up on your question.
No,
that is
I
a
did,
great question.
But I did not ask if rabbits lay eggs.
Okay, it's a follow-up to why is it eggs?
It says here, long before the advent of Christianity, eggs were revered in various cultures as symbols of fertility and new life. So that's why eggs.
So it shouldn't have been the Easter Bunny. It should have been
Pasensya na.
the
Natawa ako, not because of what she was doing. She used AI to do it.
Yes. It's ChatGPT. What's wrong with that? For the first time, Anne's using AI for good.
Are you serious? I didn't say I don't use AI.
Kasi yung tema ng show na to,
Anti-AI.
Anne is anti-AI. And
I never said I was anti-AI.
Siya pala, like between both of us, she's the one that uses AI the most pala.
That's so good.
I never said I was anti-AI.
We will get into this more in the next episode of Love Hacks with Anne and AI.
Hold on, but it shouldn't have been the Easter bunny. It should have been the Easter chicken. Because chickens lay eggs.
Mo,
Hindi raw kasi-
I'm also
hindi
confused
raw-
why it's a bunny.
Maybe because it's not cute.
Mo.
An Easter chicken.
I'm just confused as to why it's a bunny.
Wait, anong oras na ba? Wait lang.
Maybe we have time. Can you ask your AI friend why it's an Easter bunny? And ask your friend nga.
Wait lang. Guys, kalma. First of all,
Well, you're the one who's about to throw that
yeah,
at
I know
me.
I didn't. Pero,
I'm gonna swing.
no,
Go, go, go.
Pero, we cannot let this slide. Pak, pak, pak. Right? So that is it for us this Monday, April 21. I'm Paolo del Rosario. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. Thank you for making us your daily morning habit. Make today unforgettable by choosing joy and spreading love and kindness wherever you go.
And I'm Monique Tuzon. I hope you missed us like we missed each other, clearly. I hope you guys have a
Did
great
we?
Monday ahead. Join us again tomorrow at 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. only here on
It's a beautiful